That's the intro right there. Oh man,
How we doing, fellas?
Good, man.
Good. Raiders won, so
Woo!
Doing fantastic. Great win, man.
Back in this, baby. Our season just started, man.
For real, bro. Hey, that's what he said. The coach came out and he's like, "Hey, man, we're 1-0 right now." I was like, "Yes, sir."
ready for the Super Bowl.
Cálmate, cálmate.
yeah. Don't get ahead of yourselves.
Huh.
It's very possible.
I mean, if the team stays motivated, dude, no sacks.
Yeah.
Hardly even any pressures. The O-line played amazing.
Yeah. And we had like 8 or 9 sacks.
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
we had 8 or
granted,
9.
it was,
Yeah.
bad,
Giants.
Yeah.
O-line,
bad
for sure.
football team, but still, man.
But
It's the
that's
NFL.
how you're supposed to beat a bad team.
Exactly.
We're not supposed to lose like the way we just lost to a bad bottom feeder team, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you're supposed to beat a bottom team, is like that badly. And then you come out and then against the better teams, you challenge them. They're actually a challenge. It's not just the easy win for them.
Yeah.
Right. So hopefully they stay motivated. I mean, they all seem, the entire team, they were literally looking like in the locker room, and they showed they were smoking like they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, I know.
Bro, they were on the cigars like they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But there's just so much freedom now. They just all feel like, bro, like I'm juiced. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like we got our coach. Let's go. Let's play for him.
That's insane. You better play good, huh?
Yeah. I mean, even if they lose, you just want somebody really going out there, not caring for you to get injured and just throwing stuff
So
out there.
you guys as rookie QB played the whole game, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's playing the
He's-
rest of the
yeah.
season.
He's
started now.
They already, he's number 1.
Yeah.
Jimmy's number 3. And the other guy,
3,
yeah,
damn.
he's not. He didn't even go to number 2. He's
Yeah,
all
he
the
should
way-
have been. He shouldn't have
He's
never
done.
been
He's
on the
done.
roster.
He's pretty much done in the NFL. He'll probably be.
Yeah.
He might another team if they're desperate for injury or whatever. They might get him after this season, but he's done. But the only bad part for the Raiders is that they're going to eat several millions of dollars.
It's just money.
Right.
I mean, we're used to just
Right.
throwing money away anyway,
For
so
real.
it doesn't matter.
I mean, they already got to pay the coach.
And they're still-
we're still paying.
They're still paying
Chucky.
Gruden. Yep. They're still paying Gruden, and they're going to have to pay. McDummy.
I mean, the shocker for me is that Davis still plays as barber.
Oh, I seen that.
Jeez,
meme.
that's the
Seen
one
that
he's supposed
move.
to fire.
Yeah.
My God, a bowl cut, dude. That's that Dumb and Dumber bowl cut haircut, dude.
It takes skill though to have that, bro.
Yeah. Mar wish he had that cut.
For real. I'd be happy with that right now.
I will not take you serious if you have that hairstyle, dude. Looking like
Probably wouldn't
Bowl
be on
cut
this.
or ball? What would
I
you
probably wouldn't
prefer?
be on this team if I had that ball.
Nah. I like your bald head.
Who knows, bro? We
All
have
this beautiful, man.
Absolutely.
We have the Edgar cuts out there. It's
Yeah.
fairly close to a
Huh.
bowl cut. It's the front part of it, but
Are those still even a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I still see a bunch of little Edgars by Oak Grove.
just go to the mall, bro.
Yeah.
You'll find them
All
there.
wearing the exact same
It's
outfit.
always funny. We go to the mall and I'm with my wife. We're just walking and we're like, "Whoa, look, an Edgar!"
in the
All
wild.
lined up, walking. God bless your soul. I remember you dressing up like a cholo back in middle school.
Tall tees, baby.
Really?
Yeah,
Tall tees, rubber band on my jeans, stuffed my shoes. Oh, yeah.
little rubber bands.
Rubber bands on
the
my
ankles?
wrists, on the ankles, and then I used to wear a hat even back then. So,
You guys weren't around when they were stuffing the shoes, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
I used to stuff my Converse all day.
yeah. I would stuff my feelers.
Yeah. My Adidas shell toes. And then people started stuffing the Vans.
Yeah,
Well, it started with the K-Swiss.
The K-Swiss is
Yeah,
where
the
it started,
K-Swiss.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never owned K-Swiss. But Converse for sure. I tried to get all the colors. Green was my favorite.
yeah. This guy was a tagger too, man.
Yeah.
What?
He was a what?
A tagger.
101, baby. 101 North. Bah! I was up there. And then that one time I was up there, then you hear, "Whew!" And then we all just booked it. They didn't catch us though, obviously, because I'm
way,
here.
bro.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
wondered how they did it. Because some of those signs, you're like, how did you get up
There's
there?
ladders.
How'd you
You have to be out there in the middle of the night though, when there's nobody out there.
Yeah,
pitch
no
dark.
question.
And yeah, but
How'd you do
I
it?
figured
Somebody
this
throw
has
you
to
up there?
happen between 2 and 4 every time, right?
Yeah.
it's in the middle of the night, yeah, and then you just get lucky and you just book it. That's it, you know. And then I used to pass around a little black book. You used to tag on it, and they used to
There's
pass it,
some
and they
that
used to
the
go
ones
everywhere.
that really I question is like how they did it is like there's some bridges and it's like they have a lip and it's in the inner part and that lip overlooks. It's like there's no ladder to hang on. There's no way to climb up to that part. How did you tag there? You know, sometimes I always just wondered that. Is someone like on the other end and they got rope and they're just holding their homeboy like
Probably on the waist. I've never.
It had to be some smart
body
dudes.
harness.
yeah,
That's
what I'm saying.
Scaffolding and everything, bro.
Bros are just prepared.
Makes you think, right? Like if they had just used those same smarts
Bro.
and channeled that elsewhere.
They could be
It's
just
art, man.
making
You
art.
would you would
Yep.
think that. Look.
Yeah.
It's art. I love it. I still like to tag sometimes on my iPad.
How'd you get into that? I never asked you.
I've always liked drawing, and then I used to you know that's weird because I kind of like used to look up to the taggers. Now that I think about it, like there was a big guy. I mean, he's still big now. His name is Hirafa. So giraffe. I don't know if you guys seen a giraffe drawing. That's like a big tagger in the Bay Area, and that's when I just thought that just the writing looks cool, you know, and the art around it, all the colors, and then they used to, you know,
Love the colors.
draw different things around it, and it just, I think just you get all creative and stuff, you know. And I remember I used to just get a black book from Michael's that I would never buy because I would steal it, and and just like all day in class, dude, just like draw, tag my last name. I never really. I mean, I had a tagging name. I'm not gonna say it on here, but I just like my tagging name or like my last name and stuff like that. Just to have the time pass by because I obviously wasn't paying attention in class, as Hera probably knows. You know, so
I mean, we weren't in the same classes.
I never touched an AP class in my life. The only reason I made it to algebra 2 is because our art coach was our math teacher, so he passed me. I still don't know how to do algebra 2, probably. I still haven't used it in my whole 30 years of life. I almost at 29. Damn, 30.
30,
I can't say 20 no more. Now I can be somebody's mentor.
Yeah, there you go. You got some gray hairs
Jeez.
growing on you.
God, I hope not.
I think I'm doing pretty good for myself, man. Don't put me down like that, man.
We don't need other little Castros out there.
God, there's already 2 out there.
Right?
I think they're doing pretty good.
Right? They are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mar.
Yeah, but I mean, now that you turned 30, you know,
Yeah.
I'm assuming now, you know, you're looking towards, I mean, you know, we're still being influenced every day, right? But now as, you know, you're maturing, you're now thinking about passing down that wisdom, you know,
For
maybe
sure.
to your immediate family, you know, to young people in your community at church. But what do you think about that?
Yeah. I feel like we come from a different generation, obviously, from these guys too,
Mm-hmm.
and the newer people now. So I think we all have some, you know, point of view that's going to be different than somebody else, but that might help somebody
Yeah.
in the long run. You know, like, hey, like I remember doing that, what you're doing right now. How about you avoid that and take this step instead? Let me save you a couple steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think being able to anticipate things for people too is as big.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to help them advance and grow probably faster than you did, I think it's also satisfying, you know, not just to them but to yourself too. You know what I mean? I think it feels good to help people, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially to give advice to somebody like, oh, like I sure hope they take that advice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I wish I had someone tell me that when I was a kid, you know, or their age or whatever. So I think it's very important now at my age, even though I still look young and feel very young. I mean, I'm like, realistically, I'm halfway past my life. You know what I mean? Because, what is it? People don't make it past a certain age. So,
No, they live to like their 80s, 90s. People
I don't
now
know, not now.
people now are living
They got drugs for
older
maybe by
like
then
an
they'll
older
have it.
generation. They're living longer than all the generations before.
Before that, because we have all this medicine.
Yeah, because
And
all
Botox.
this medicine.
Right.
Like, how did he die so young?
Not only did he live, you know, to be an older age, but he still looked like he was younger while doing that, you know, because of that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
All of our
I think
eyeballs are filled with everything we can think of.
Yeah.
I see myself, like, even when I hit 40 or 50, like, still being how I am now, like, dressing how I dress and talking how I talk. Like I don't.
What if it's
see
not the
myself-
trend no more?
I'll keep it the trend. You know, I don't think I want to change how I am now. I think I want to say I want to be the cool dad. You know what I mean? Like I want to be like the hype dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, your dad has those kicks. He's 50. You know, it's like, oh, I had those back in 2006.
Dude, I've watched so many videos of like older gentlemen literally in their 60s still rocking their J's and nice OG J's, and you're just like,
Yeah.
bro, that's so dope.
I think those people
Like
carry
to
it.
even still care about like
Yeah.
I want to look nice, I want to look presentable. That doesn't matter in life, of course, in the grand scheme of things, but if you can do that for yourself and you have, you know, the means to make that happen, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mars definitely the cool dad.
for sure.
Wish he was my dad.
He could be your dad.
My mom said
I
that.
call him daddy.
Hi, papi. My mom said that to me once. She was like, "Man, I wish you were my dad growing up." I was like, "That's a pretty cool compliment."
Yeah,
Especially
no,
for
it
your
is.
parents,
It's
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
my dad was cool. Little annoying sometimes. He was cool, man.
I think we can all say that about our parents at some point in time, right?
Our kids say that about us.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. No, but I mean, I think I get it from my dad. Like, you know, he's a big jokester. And I think I got that from him.
Yeah.
He just like,
Love that.
he just likes to just have fun. Like, he doesn't take things so serious.
Too serious, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because, like I make fun of my dad sometimes with just my wife, right? And like I, you know, like play tricks on him and stuff. And then my wife is like, "Tú estás igual que tu papá," and I'm like, "What? I'm not like him. What are you talking about?" You know. And then last time, like she had bought some wine and then she had me taste it. And I'm like, "Oh, this is like some pretty good wine." I'm like, "This must have cost like $60-$50, $100 bottle, you know?" And I had played that trick on my dad.
Yeah.
It was a $3 bottle. And I'm like, shoot, I'm just like my dad.
Oh, shoot.
That's hilarious.
Bro.
So yeah, you know, we're turning out to be like our parents.
Yeah.
Something has to stick, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that's all I got from him, man. Anything else, he's lame.
Dang, dude.
No, but you know what? My dad, since I can remember being a baby, New Balance was his shoe. So I think that's kind of where like it grew in
Get
a
it?
little bit.
Yeah.
You know, to this day, he's still all he wears is New Balances, and I'm like, that's an ugly shoe, man. And then now that's all I wear. So I think he definitely put that in me at a young age.
Yeah.
Marshalls,
Right on.
Marshalls, TJ Maxx, New Balances.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's it.
The white New Balances, for the cookouts,
Yes.
barbecue cookouts.
Yeah, that definition of a dad shoe with your jean shorts and your polo, shirt tucked in.
There
Baby.
you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all agree. Like both of our parents were, you know, our biggest mentors, the first mentors
Agreed.
in
Yeah,
life, you know,
for sure.
and especially as men, we looked up to our dad, perhaps a bit more, you know. Like me growing up, I thought my dad was my hero. You know, it's, you know, still is, but there was a time where I was extremely just angry at my dad for just the mistakes he committed.
Sure.
And now growing up and maturing and now really placing myself in his perspective, I'm like, dang, you know, like now I feel sorry for him and I have more grace and compassion for him because I'm like, dang, yeah, I get it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And then now that I'm in my 30s, I'm seeing that a bit more. And that's what's allowing me also to rekindle this relationship with my dad and spend more time with him. But for a while I was just really angry, but I'm really glad and grateful that God really opened up my eyes and showed me, you know, that the same feelings that I was having, like perhaps my dad was having that as well. And this was an immigrant, you know, coming into the United States with no family, nothing here, and somehow still managed to make it work for me and my sister, you know. And sometimes I would just overlook that, you know, because we're like, no, I want more. Like, I want you to provide for me to go to school or, you know, have a good house, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like I wanted more of that. But really what I wanted more of was an intimate relationship with my pops. But that's how I feel. What about you, Jay?
So yeah, same, you know, I had my parents and I've always looked up to my parents and thank God my parents have always been there for us. But as I got older, I guess I realized that what I knew, that was just like very little, because my parents only knew so much with education and who they were around. And as I got older, I started meeting different people, and I started realizing that there's another world out there, and they know things outside of the four walls that I was in, and I never even really paid attention to the word of being, an influence or a mentor. And not until Alina was maybe a year old, where it was never like set in stone, like, hey, this is my mentor, but one of the VPs from Cisco Systems became my mentor. And this man, for no reason, just seen something in me, and he invested time, and in a way that my parents wouldn't be able to invest in me. My parents raised me a certain way, and which that was great, and it made me who I am, my character. But outside of that, it's like I needed help outside, and God knew that, and he brought people in the perfect timing. The managers that I met, still connected. I'm still cool with them. I still talk to them.
That's dope.
And it helps reflect, now, like looking back, 15 years, where I'm like, man, like, this person impacted my life, long time ago, and this could be, for me, it was in finance, and career path, and, helped me see a different side that, I never got to see, and never expected nothing back from me, and he just wanted to invest in someone that, God put it in his heart, and I've always tried to do the same that anybody I came across, and, we are around each other and on a personal level, and we see what we all are going through and what we experience. So for me, it's like one thing I always try to live by is like be a blessing to someone, every day,
definitely.
even with the hello, and we don't realize what that does for other people. And that opens up doors, and gives them the opportunity to, be vulnerable and letting you be a blessing to them.
Yep, definitely.
So I'm a strong believer on passing on like the baton, and the knowledge, and not expecting anything back. And a lot of times, even for myself, like I might be there for my daughter and I'm on her all the time, but it might be somebody else that will influence her, and impact her life in a way that I don't know, and open up a whole nother avenue for her, because I only know so much. So I'm a strong believer that we need to be a blessing and mentor, those that come across us. And it may be just for a season, because that mentor that I had was just for a season. He doesn't mentor me now. Now we have a relationship. Now we built a relationship, and it's like, I thank him all the time, when I see him, and it's just like, because I'm grateful, but obviously I know that, God put him in my life for that, and then I've met other people, after him, and, I became a mentor, and there's men that work for me now that I mentor, and I'm like, dang, like it's crazy how that, has, prolonged, that blessing, is the way I look at it, is just like that blessing, that seed that was planted, it just continues to go, and it doesn't stay there. So
that's really good. What would you say was the biggest piece of advice that you took from that mentor?
We go through life not knowing why we go through certain things, and sometimes it's for the worst. And I thought, in this time of my life, it was for the worst, but it was, in all reality, it was the best thing could ever happen to me. And it was crazy. Going to that, I used to go on random drives, and I was just I used to like to just go on random drives and, kind of just listen to music and just cruise around. And I so happened to just end up parked in Cisco Systems parking lot. I was like 17 at the time, maybe, 17. And I just parked there, and I was just chilling and not realizing I'm speaking this out loud, looking at the buildings. I'm like, man, like it would be like dope to work here, to work here. Like this would be like a blessing, to me. I'm like, oh, that means you make it, Never even realized that was me actually having a prayer with God, and I like put it out there, and then 4 years later, here I am getting a job there. you know, and I'm tripping out because I'm like walking in there. I'm like, this is what it looks like in here. But it's just like, I never knew that, you know, but it was like the right timing. But at that time, I didn't believe, you know, I wasn't believing in myself. Like, I mean, I'm a kid. I mean, I didn't have no education, nothing, you know, and here I am in a parking lot praying a prayer. I didn't even know that I was praying. And then here I am 4 years later being blessed with a job there, you know, and that job alone has opened up so many opportunities for me, career wise, and people that I've met. And yeah, it's been a huge blessing. So I say that, you know, believe in the process, you know, believe in the process, and, you know, it's going to happen. You'll have your breakthrough, whatever it is. It could be finances. It could be a relationship. It could be health. You just got to believe that you will have your breakthrough. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang, for people who say that Jacob doesn't talk, there you go.
I still had one more question for you. In being able to mentor from the stuff that you learned from your mentor, what does it now mean to you to be able to mentor to the people who depend on you for that mentorship?
Man, that's a great question. This is a thing for me, and I think in the phase of my life right now is, yes, I'm still striving to be better, but man, to be a mentor to somebody else and watch somebody else life completely change because of your the time that you've taken. And it doesn't have to be like all day long. It doesn't have to be hours, you know, taken away, you know, but just showing that person love, you know, or even a group of kids. It doesn't have to be kids. It could be adults that just need to know, hey, I'm here. There's answers, you know, and being a blessing to them and watching them succeed. Man, there is no bigger blessing than that. Absolutely. Because I have my daughter and I love watching her grow. But to do that with maybe even a complete stranger, man, like that's such a blessing. And you're watching the generation after you even come up, or somebody like might be your neighbor. You know,
because I feel like with your kids, you almost expect them because you're pouring everything all for our kids. We're pouring all of our time, all of our efforts into helping them become a independent adult, you know, ultimately, you know, and that's successful, and that's, you know, making as good decisions as they can. But I feel like with someone who's can be either a stranger or you don't get to invest as much resources and time with, but you're still able to invest something in them. And then to see them that, you know, affect their life in a positive way, that it just, in some ways, it feels even sometimes more impactful than it would if it was your own kids, only because you kind of expect your kids to make good decisions, because you like, no, we've been there the whole time. You should have, you had no reason to veer off. Not that kids won't make their own decision, because sometimes it's not on the parent. Parents did everything they could and the kid just chose, right? At the end of the day, we all have the power to choose what's right and wrong, and so it doesn't. There's no guarantees in life, you know. But I really feel that I feel like when you're able to mentor, and even if it's like not your kid, sometimes it feels a little more impactful, because you're like, bro, I don't get nearly as much time with this person, but they took what I've shared with them and they did the most with it.
Right. And that's super important, man. Like, especially like when your kids see that, you know, they're seeing you as a parent be a blessing to somebody else.
Come on, bro.
That just will continue with them. And it's going to naturally come to them. Because like, as I speak this, I'm like, nobody taught me this. Realistically, like, nobody sat there and taught me. My parents were the ones that showed me, you know what, this is how you are a blessing, without even speaking about it. You know, just by example. You know, I never sat there and told my daughter, hey, this is how you're going to be a blessing to somebody. No. But I remembered her every day. Every day we would pray, I would make sure that we would always, in that prayer, be a blessing to somebody else. You know, and it's like, you're only here for so long, you know, and it's like, what is it that people are going to remember you as? Man, honestly, it's sad to say, but it's true. A lot of people's funerals will definitely show you what they've done with their life. You know, and the people that they've impacted. And for God to be able to use you, that's even better. Man. That's even bigger. Because God's trusting you with the knowledge that you get to impact those.
Exactly.
Wow.
and that's what we're called to do, you know.
Yeah.
Be good influencers in this world where you're being constantly influenced just in everything that you're hearing and everything that you're seeing, whether on social media, TV shows, whatever. You know, everybody's out there trying to influence in some way or another, you know. And sometimes, you know, sadly, some people don't know that they're being influenced. They're like, oh, it's just entertainment, but subconsciously it's still in your brain, and in one form, one way or another, it, you know, in the decisions that you make in your life, it shows, right, the influence that you had in your life. That's why you have mentorship. You had somebody constantly or showing you, probably not saying like how you said, right, but being a model of blessing others, and you see like, oh, he's doing that, I'm gonna do that because I see the impact that it has in others. But man, that's so good. You guys are spot on that. But
I think that opens the question or the discussion on the social media mentors, man. Especially with you know, us who have kids, and because I mean, that's social media, if we like it or not, that's part of life now. You know, I'm talking people have careers off of it.
Right.
That's how people communicate now. You can talk to someone across the world.
It's also
social media.
it's also a title, social media influencer.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's a career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think I was at my son's school, and it was like a little morning thing, you know, like a career day type of thing, right? And like they were just like, oh, like, what do you want to do? And then the teacher's like, who wants to be a YouTuber?
Yeah.
And all the kids raise their hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, before I would have saw that as a bad thing, like, oh, that's kind of obnoxious, and annoying. But now it's like, no, there's people who actually do a lot and make a living off of that.
Yeah.
You know, one of the guys that my kid watches, Mr. Beast. The things this kid does, I'm talking about like giving houses to people randomly. Like I just saw a video today, and we're like, the next person who comes trick or treat at my house, I'm gonna give him this house. And he gave a family a house that trick or treated.
Dude has a lot of money.
And like, but he's using it positively. Like just, I think this week there was this news where he made like 100 wells in Africa.
Wow.
For running water. So I think those are the social media influencers that I'm like, follow. There's a blueprint, you know what I mean? I mean, there's the other TikTok dancers who are like in public dancing in the middle of the street, like get out of the way, I'm trying to get to work. And I'm
Dude,
while
can you believe
dancing.
there's a group of guys out there in penguin suits dancing? It's ridiculous.
Dude,
That was
like-
so annoying. Dude.
So
If you see that, flag it.
yeah, just
But before you
immediately.
do, comment and like it. And share it with somebody else.
but in penguin suits, dude, I mean,
Yeah,
I think we should open
inappropriate.
a case on that, man.
Yeah.
It's a little suspicious to me. It's hot out here. What are penguins doing out here? But I mean, going back to like the parenting aspect of it too, is like, I mean, I'm not there every single minute of the day with my kids.
Right.
So it's also very important that like, okay, what are you watching? Who you listen to at school? Like I kind of like, I vet their teachers, you know, just by like a distance to see how they are. And like both of them are very, very good people, you know. So being comfortable knowing that my kids at school have some sort of mentorship that's positive to them, you know, like my son and his teacher are like very close now, you know. So like I admire, I like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then actually I found out that my daughter, her teacher, apparently they were doing this activity with like music or whatever, and then she's like, yeah, Dad, and then when she pressed play on her phone, Build Your Church came up. And then I was like, I know that song, teacher, I know that song. And he's like, you know that song? And then like, to me that made me feel good, like, oh, like there's someone there who has the same faith as us. It's like I feel comfortable.
It's so true about what you said about your son's teacher. I feel like when the kids can connect to their teacher and they have a good teacher that actually cares about them, some of my kids' best years were when they were with teachers who actually cared about them.
Definitely.
Literally. I mean, I can attest to that. So right on, bro.
And I like that, and because even though I had teachers who wanted to help me, I didn't want the help. You know, I wasn't trying to get close to you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to this day to go by. Give me my black book so I can tag in it. I'll be in the back of the room.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but looking back into it now, it's like, damn, like maybe one of these teachers would have, you know, guided me to something that I didn't know at that time. You know, because again, my parents were working. It's like I barely even saw them too.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, I don't regret any of that because I like where I am now. But it's something that I can definitely pass down to other generations. Like, hey, if you have a teacher who has interest in you, take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're doing that for a good reason. They want you to succeed. They see something in you, like, you know, like your VP saw in you. It's the same thing in teachers. It's most importantly in education, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's where I'm at with that, man. Honestly.
Yeah, going back to parenting and mentoring, and maybe you guys feel the same way, but it's hard as a kid to view your parents as good mentors.
Yeah.
But you definitely, if they were a even halfway decent parent, as you grow older, you definitely start to understand and respect what they did for you. But as a kid, it's just like they're like public enemy number one. It's you don't understand why the restrictions need to be in place. You don't understand why no, you're getting so many no's from your parents.
Yeah.
And they're as a young kid, your parents are just in the way a lot of the time. Right. And then you mature, and then or even if you don't have your own kids, but you just spend time around kid, or you just mature mentally, because you don't necessarily have to have your own kids to understand the value of what our parents, what a good parent did for you, right? You just have to have a mature mindset and realize, man, like my parents was really trying to save me from a lot of the trouble that I ended up getting myself into. And but a lot of times it takes some distance from your younger days to really see that impact and see how that mentorship, you know, sometimes if we took it, I know we didn't always disregard our parents, you know, mentoring. Sometimes we took it and things went well for us, and other times we didn't. And ya ves, yo te dije.
I think it's also part of human nature when you're spending a lot of time with someone and they're really, you know, trying to share their values with you and spending the time with you, and they give you a piece of advice, but sometimes you see that they themselves don't take that same advice, or they don't follow the same thing what they're trying to tell you. And you're like, Mom, like, why are you telling me that? Just the other day I saw you doing this and that, you know. So when you're really close with somebody and you see all their mistakes, it's only sometimes logical to think like, well, why am I going to do that if I see you modeling this and it doesn't go along with what our values are? So why should I pursue it? Right.
Absolutely.
And that's something obviously to, you know, think about, right, when you're mentoring others and you're trying to guide others. But also now I feel now, especially as a believer in the faith that I have, that it's just understanding that everybody makes the mistakes, right? And just allowing space to give grace to others, that even though there was a mistake or something that they did in their part, that you understand perhaps why maybe they carry some pain with them, you know, and if that's the case, right, then you can approach that person and be like, hey, I'm with you, I understand you, or you can yourself share perhaps the same pain experience that you had, right, and in that way make a connection so that you can be good, you know, mentor for one another's. But you know, when it comes to mentorship and guidance, like I think about that, and because sometimes, because you don't want to put them at the same level as a celebrity, perhaps, you know, sometimes you look at celebrities, or a lot of people do, and especially now with, you know, the whole news of the war and everything that's going on, if you say one bad thing, like boom, you're done, or you know, like you consider them your heroes, and then they show who they are in real life. You know, like if you were in the same room with them, or like, what, like I looked up to this person, and you know, this celebrity, I loved them so much, grew up with them, their music, watched them TV, whatever, and I just come to find out that they're just a trashy person, you know, like they don't have no respect for anybody, you know. So you know, that's why they say that, like, don't meet your heroes sometimes, right? But that's because we sometimes it's in human nature, like we just put somebody up there and envision them to be like God, you know, like this person has no mistakes, right? So when you come with that perspective, to me, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because we all make mistakes, right?
Sure.
We all make mistakes, and if you don't allow somebody to make those mistakes, like how are you gonna expect them to grow too, you know? Because even as them being perhaps your mentors, you still want them to grow, right? You're still learning from them, and you still want them to impart more in your life, and that's only going to happen if they're going to go out in life and make more mistakes, right? If that's what they tell us, go and make mistakes. And if they don't go out and do mistakes, like they're not following what they're telling us, so like I see that a lot. That's why like I said, in music that I hear, things that I watch, podcasts and everything, like you can really relate to somebody more in their pain. I feel like their experiences that they had, because you saw their mistakes. Like I like to put myself in like their perspective, in their shoes, like what they felt in those moments, and try to be sympathetic and empathetic to really understand that person, because someone can be out there saying what everybody wants to hear, and it's gonna sound good to our ears, and some people can really manipulate you in that way. Like, I know what to say to this person to make them feel good, but sometimes, like, I like seeing. I've always been like behind the scenes kind of a person. Like, don't show me what you're doing in the spotlight, but like how you're treating others in your everyday life, whether you're at home, at the office, or whatever. But does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
It's very deep, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Very, very deep.
yeah, and yeah.
I just think there's also the importance of like following mentorship and taking advice and being influenced by people, but also like staying true to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of times where you follow somebody and then you completely forget who you are, and then now you may be holier than thou. You know what I mean? Now you're better than somebody because I'm now following this financial guru and I invested in their $7 program. You know what I mean? Now I'm going to become a millionaire and you're going to be in the dust. Like, some people act like that. You know what I mean? It's
So
like,
there are bad mentors out there too.
absolutely. But some of them are good, but you're just taking it. You're taking it in a different context. You know what I mean? And because you're seeing probably like what they have. You know what I mean? But they might just have good intentions for you, but you're just seeing the completely different picture. Like, oh, like I want their car and I want their house and I want their wife and I want their life. And it's like, damn, dude, like it's who you are. Staying true who you are.
What's crazy is perhaps one of the best pieces of advice that I have received has actually been from a millionaire. Remember back when we were working in an MLM, insurance company. There was people making money there, and they would meet up. They had meetings, and they were, being mentors to other people in the office, to helping them, make sales, leads, all that stuff, right? But one millionaire once did say, if you want to be like a millionaire or you want to be successful in life, look at what everybody else is doing and do the complete opposite. And I looked at, as a very young person when I was there, and just given the experiences that I had where I had lost a lot, and I was at that time, like even giving up my college degree to pursue this other career, like that really resonated with me. And that's also one of the things that led me to Jesus as well, because hearing that, like, look at what everybody else is doing, do the complete opposite. It didn't make much sense until you really started to see like the way people spoke or the habits that they had, and you're like, man, I want to be successful. Like, I want to follow, people that are really killing it in life, in their careers, and have a great family and everything. So that made me really think about my own habits and people that I was allowing to be around me in my space. And then that's when I also first heard, the message of the gospel. And I'm like, shoot, it's like God was just speaking to me to this, So it's, I mean, kind of goes along with what, you were saying. It's like how you take it in that perspective. Yes, some people see the cars and the money and everything, but it's much deeper than that. And just like how I love how Mar put it together, you want to impact, not, impress others. But
yeah, that's a good one, dude.
That's really good, Mar.
Because, a lot of people now on social media just want to impress, right? But then, like, 6 months later, you see a whole controversy on their life. Like, oh, see?
Yeah.
They weren't perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Ponzi scheme? Oh, okay. So, I mean, I think it's just being careful who you listen to, And I mean, maybe some controversy on this, but, like, some people, I'm not going to say names, but, like, there's some influencers out there who are like, it makes sense, I don't really believe in everything that you say or talk about, but you got some points that I can maybe apply in my life, you know, that I see as a positive, but just being able to distinguish, you know, which can really fit you.
Yeah.
You know, because then some people are just born. I'm not gonna say born, but like some people can just be very narcissistic too, and you know, and be very, you know, cocky or whatever, and maybe that advice should not fall on your lap because you won't use it the way you should use it, right? You might use it in a way where you're gonna just step on people to get to where you want to be, right? And so, I just think being careful on who and not just who, but like what information you're gonna get from that person, right? Because like I said, some things, even though I don't believe in anything you say, other than just that little piece of advice, like, oh, I can apply that to my life, sure. But the rest of it is just horse crap. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, dude, like you're wild. But
yeah, how I like to think of it now is, I like to say that always learn something from someone, from every conversation that you have. Sometimes perhaps a person that's because sometimes we're a little bit biased, like, nah, I've seen what that person does, like I'm not gonna take any of his advice. But if you really, you know, try and like with every conversation that you have, like I feel like there is a lot of good stuff in people, you know, that they can communicate, and you know, sometimes we can be open to that, you know, that if you're willing to learn every single day, you know, and be, you know, successful, is you got to learn from everybody and learn how to apply that wisdom that you learn.
And you're right, regardless of their point of view, you know, because you can listen to both sides, and you can get something from both sides.
You can,
you know what I mean? You don't have to be a far this person or for that person, you know, it's like, no, like I hear both of you, and I'll listen to you. We can sit down and have a conversation. You know what I mean? This is gonna sound wild, which is why I really enjoy listening to Joe Rogan, because he sits down with everybody. I don't care what you think, who you are. You want to have a conversation? Let's have a conversation. And that's how I think we succeed too, is through conversations, right? You know what I mean? Because you may see somebody in a negative, like, oh, like that fool's, you know, he's wild. Like, I'm not gonna listen to him. But like, let's just say you sit down with him and he like applies something that's so valuable to, like, oh, I never saw it this way. Like, oh, I can really apply it to my life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I just think just being able to distinguish what you get out of it and being able to decide if it's gonna apply to your life at that very moment, right? You also don't want to force things. You know what I mean? You don't want to be wild and, you know, quit your 6-figure job to do something crazy. You know what I mean?
Like start a podcast, right?
You know, luckily we have our 9 to 5 still,
right?
So we're fine. But you know,
I do want to say that someone who I think makes a really great mentor is my boy Mario here. And I want to hear from him, because I mean we've known him for a while now, and we know, you know, the boys that he's brought around, and he even calls them his boys, right? Like that, man, that just really shows you like the love and commitment, you know, that this guy has with really trying to be a great mentor to these kids. But you know, like I see you with them and I see you having fun with them, but what would you say would be like the 3 things that you, being a mentor to them, would want to impart in them?
Yeah. One of the things I tell my boys all the time is that, number one, it's my job, especially as either their father or their father figure, to make them independent men, and to not be dependent upon me. To eventually, my goal is to get them to a point where they're like, I got this, Dad. Thank you, but I got this, you know? And that's one of the main things for me, right? And then, of course, nothing in life is worth having or worth doing without God, period. That's my belief. That's how I roll. And I don't apologize for that to anybody. And that's how my boys are going to roll. So like I said, it's nothing in life is not $1 million, not all the cars, not all the success in this world is worth having if you don't got him first. So roll with him, number one. And then number two, learn to be an independent man. Don't make life about what people can do for you. Sure, that's great, and we can have resources. We can have people to reach out to, friends in time of need. You guys all have been there when I've had needs, and I reach out to you guys are like, yeah, Mar, we got you. Like, who do we send it to? And you guys have been a blessing to people you've never met in your life. And I love that. And those are the things that we, that, the times that you can lean on your brothers to step in and help you out, and nothing wrong with that. But, I want them to be able to just make life decisions for themselves and then become men, not like, oh, I need my mom to do this for me, or I need my dad to do, and then, affect others, take what you've learned and pour into those. And I love when I hear my boys, like, when we were preparing, and I was talking to Seth and Zion, and then I'm like, hey, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be going in this route. Okay, Dad, I can do this. I can help with this. I can help, do all these things. And that really blessed me, because I was like, dang, like he's taking on this role to be a help for me, because as a dad, I can do a certain amount of things for my boys, and I can be very effective in a lot of areas. But sometimes when you get another kid who's in your age group, and I know you guys all growing up, sometimes our friends were way more, they got through to us a lot easier than our parents did.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Their words affected us, and their influence was so much greater than our parents, right? So the way I see it is, if I can affect the way my boys are with their friends, that my influence that I've had on them for their entire life can in turn affect the friends, because they can be more effectual in their words and in their influence over their friends than even I can. And so I think if one of the things I pride myself on is, like, if I win $100 million tomorrow, we're all eating, because I don't feel like I'm winning if I don't take my boys with you. I'm not the type of person to be like, well, okay, this is all for us. This is only for me, Ali, Seth, and Zion. We're all eating. Like that's just the way it should be. And I think when we open our hands, we can receive more. As my dad told me that growing up, you can't get back. You can't be given something if your hands are just holding on to the stuff that you earned on your own. But if your hands are open because you're constantly giving, that they're also open so you can constantly receive. Yeah. That's so good. So that's something that's one of the things I've learned growing up. But those are some of the values that I try to teach my boys, and then they can affect their friends. And then of course I'll be there to be that back wall for them. They can just lean back and Dad's got it at the end of the day. But I those are some of the things I definitely pride myself on.
Bro. Imagine Mario winning the lottery. It says Mario has left the chat. And then he's out.
You're like, hey, Mario, you want to go out for lunch? You're like, I'll see what's up.
And you guys get a text like, hey, we need a new bass player, guys. It's done.
Next photo in the Philippines, like just my new house. Like, what?
Why the Philippines?
Because I can buy everybody.
Oh man, you're a fool. God. Anyways,
but that's so good. It all goes back and it ties back to what Jay to what Jay was saying, which is be a blessing to others.
Oh man, I mean, something I love about you, Marlo, is just how you say baby boy to your kids, man. I don't know, that does something to me. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Just like as a grown man, like if my dad was calling me baby boy, like, all right, dog, chill, fool. Yeah. But like, I don't know, the way you say it, it's just so loving and caring.
Call Oscar.
I love it. No, I wish I'm old enough to be your kid, so I wish you would call me baby boy.
Right.
I don't know, man. I think my comfort zone, I think I'm going to step out and probably leave my career.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. That's huge.
Yeah. I've been talking to somebody who's been really helping me out, like just, guiding me and stuff like that. And, she's my boss at work, obviously. she's retiring soon, so she's just like, hey, I don't know, something that I realized that I really got from her is just saying like, just, are you happy? You know, and what do you want out of life? Like, you have one life.
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then the way I see it, it's like, I mean, my job is good. Do I love it? I don't know. I like it. You know, it pays the bills.
Yeah.
I live.
Well, if it's not a
comfortably.
yes, it's a no.
I live comfortably. You know, my
Yeah.
family eats. You know.
Yeah.
So I it's a good career path. It's a safe career path. You know, but I don't know, man. I think I'm ready to like get out of my comfort zone and just walk out, man. And it's crazy because I have no idea where I'm going. And it's terrifying to me, but there's something that actually, funny enough, Pastor John told me one time. He said, sometimes when you don't know where you're going, it's the best place to be. And it's like, you don't put any limits on yourself. You're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, it's not something I'm going to do, you know, spontaneously.
Right.
Like,
right.
hey, guess
There'll
what,
be
babe?
there'll be planning involved.
You know, I show up at the house during lunch. I'm like, hey, I quit today.
Sure.
You know, it's
Right.
on you now.
You know, you got this, right?
Tag. You know, but it's something that I'm definitely in the process of planning or like, you know, thinking of doing in the next, I don't know, 6 months maybe. And where I'm like, I don't know, man. There's just something inside of me that just tells me God gave you one life. You know, and it's damn well not going to be sitting in a cubicle for 25 years.
Yeah.
Or at home if you work remote.
Or at home if you work remote. Absolutely not. You know, I'm not going to be stuck in front of a computer screen, I guess, making other people millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that also goes into what I want to show my kids. You know, it's like, you know, your dad had it good. He was good. He was in a good path. But you know what? He took a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And that's what
He went in.
Exactly
And I want my kids to have that mentality. Like, hey, guys, like, I don't expect you guys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it may be wrong to say, but it's like, if my kids don't want to go to college, what am I going to do? Force them? You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's your plan? What are we doing? And then whatever it is they want, be 100%. Like, I wish my parents, they weren't bad parents, but I wish my parents were more supportive in like my dreams, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
to
like,
talk to you more about your goals.
exactly. Like, what do you want to do? What can I do to help you get there? You know what I mean? It's like, and I feel like I wasted so much time.
Yeah. And then just when you're young, you really want somebody to believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Just like Jay said.
Yeah.
Right?
And push you to do it and help you to do it. Cause I'm you know, I'm underage, you know, like, I can't do decisions by myself. You know what I mean? I still need them to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, I don't know, I want to be that mentor to my own kids and like to my own family. Be like, hey, you know what? I know we came here to, you know, I mean, I think it's a culture thing too. And we're like, oh, if you have a steady job, like you stay there. You know what I mean? If it's paying the bills and you're feeding your family, like,
That
what are
is
you
definitely-
doing?
Yeah.
What are dreams?
Yeah.
You know, and so,
Yeah.
Especially more so in our culture for the men.
yeah.
If we're gonna be without a job, that's like what do you
Absolutely.
what kind of man are you
Yeah.
that you're just gonna
Yeah.
let
I mean,
your
I'm not
wife-
going to stop providing. That's one
Of
thing
course,
for sure. It's like,
of
I
course.
will always have a plan
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
money. And
And
that's
I was
not
just
something-
referencing our culture
no,
in general.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
like growing up, that was like, bro, you are a man. You
have to
provide.
work. You have to work.
You have to
regardless.
work, right?
You know, but I think now we're in a generation and we're like, there's so many avenues you can take now. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have to stick to just the traditional, I guess, thing. Because it's funny because you were saying how you went to Cisco when you were 17. You parked there and you were like, I can't wait to work here.
Yeah.
My first job, I was a janitor. And I remember I was a janitor and I used to clean offices, cubicles and stuff. And I was like, man, I wonder what it's like to work up here, man. And
Yeah.
they probably have it nice. I used to clean up their pizza box. Like, oh, they had a pizza party today
Yeah.
while they worked, all comfortable in an AC. You know what I mean? Like, I've always like, damn, I wonder what that feels like. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. You know, the Lord has blessed me. He's given me what I have now, and I don't take that for granted whatsoever. But I think it comes to a point in life where you're like, you know what else is out there? What else can you do? Especially now, I'm 30 years old now, still young. I wish I took this decision when I was 25, to be quite honest with you. But I feel like I learned a lot in that time, and
Yep.
I think now I'm in a time in my life where I'm like, okay, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get there?
Yeah.
Make a plan, execute. That's what I'm meant to do, is execute plans.
That's it.
That's where I'm at, man.
That's good.
I'm glad that question came
All
up
right.
because I was like, I literally was thinking about that today.
Yeah.
I've been a little off today because that's really what's been on my mind. It's
Yeah.
like,
I knew something was off.
dog, I'm terrified, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
I have a feeling of what it is, but it's just, I won't talk about it after the podcast. I'm not
Then
gonna
that's when
have
the
people take my ideas.
faith kicks in, right?
Yeah.
But I also think it's highly important that as you're doing this, right, that you have your boys here with
Absolutely.
you. You know,
Yeah.
we got you.
But if I make it,
You
I'm
can
leaving a
always be
group
a good
chat.
influence too, for sure.
Making it clear.
No.
He's like, I'll send you some togos.
Yeah, just about to say that.
I'll send you guys some gift cards to your favorite restaurants.
And not even the large sandwich. Send him the 6-inch.
I'll send you the coupon.
No chips or soda.
Buy one get one free.
50%.
50% off full on. Oh man. But no, man, that's where I'm at right now. I think at this time in my life is stepping out of my comfort zone. And going back to like that person at work who's like kind of guiding me, mentoring me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because initially I was supposed to take her position.
Mm,
Like I was a candidate.
mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a operations manager position. Even though that would like definitely help out financially, I didn't feel it. I was like, I don't want it.
Mm.
It's crazy for people to say. Like even like my wife was like, "What are you like
Yeah.
talking about? Like take it, like just take." I'm like, I don't want it because I had a feeling like if I take this position, I'm gonna look back in 20 years and still be there and be like,
Mhm.
what am I doing now?
Yeah.
By that time, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like one of my biggest things, and I tell my wife this too, is like, I don't want to live my life thinking, what if?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've tried so many things in my life. You
Yeah.
know, I've tried music, I've
Yeah.
tried
Went
acting,
to
I've tried
LA.
this, I try everything. If it doesn't work out, I'm completely okay with it because at the end of the day, I sleep at night thinking like, I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out, but it's fine. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna keep whatever the next thing is,
Mm-hmm.
but also not be a bum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
for
Like I
sure.
still have a family to support.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm
Yeah.
at, guys.
It's
That's
funny because
really good.
I've literally put some thought in the same area. Now, I'm probably not as close to you because number one, I've got my age to consider. But the other thing is like I've legitimately been like researching like financial moves that I've never made, but you know, kind of risking and making those now so that in, you know, the next 5 to 10 we can be in a much better spot, you know, for me and the family. And therefore everyone else who's in our circle can be in a better spot, you know, but primarily, you know, I get afraid for the same reason. I'm like, man, because I'm used to just being stable and having that job and being there. And I know that, you know, like if I were to like be like, all right, I'm going to just bounce. It would be weird, very, very weird and worrisome for me just because I'm so used to, I mean, I've been working, you know, I don't know, 20 years now, a little over 20 years. And not all in the same job, but that's like 4 jobs in the last 20 years. So it's not a lot. I haven't had a lot of movements. I'm used to just being, but I also don't want to, be like, okay, I'm 70 now or 65 now. And, you know, I've only accumulated this much to leave behind for the ones that I love the most. And so I want to change that. I really want to change that. And I know to do that, there has to be some risk involved, right?
Absolutely.
But good planning as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not just like, all right, dude, let's do it. You know, I'm quitting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not set up to even do that anyways. So, right. So, but I definitely think about that. And I do feel like I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I probably should have made these decisions 10 years ago, but there's still plenty of information out there, bro. Within literally 5 to 10 years, you can literally make the amount that you would have. Taking safer routes, obviously, doing it, 10 to 20, 15 to 20 years, but you can cut it. It's just the difference is the investment, right? And how you're going to put a little bit more away, but you're also going to get more. But there's so many avenues and so many ways to make money for you. Make your money make money for you.
Definitely.
We don't have access to all of it, but doing a lot of research and there's so many good things to get into. But that's definitely something that's been on my mind for a long time now and just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah. With me, I really strive to keep a growth mindset, and something that I tell myself a lot is not to just be complacent with what you have. Like, yes, be happy, be grateful for what you do have, but don't stay there. We're humans. We're meant to evolve and continue to be good influencers. Perhaps we did it in one space, now we're called to do it in another space. But for me, I'm just a learner at heart. Like, I love learning new things, and it says a lot. Like, from me, like, I cut hair, like I been DJing now, getting into DJing. Been getting into basketball, never played basketball before. I've done freelancing, creating website applications. Like, I've really done my best to not just stay where I am, but continue to grow. And there's just so many different channels out there, and YouTube, social media, like, for you to learn so many stuff. Like, you don't know something, like, go out there and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Right. So I really just, enjoy, and I feel like with all, like, these hobbies and stuff that I do, like, I feel I can take a little bit from everything and really apply those things in my life, whether it be in my career choices or relationships with others. But right now, I'm really in a season of getting my comfort zone, because I'm a big introvert. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, like, what? Like, head as an introvert? Like, no, not really. I'm comfortable.
You are.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people have told me that. I'm comfortable with the people that I'm with, and I love making people laugh as well. I love sharing, moments with others. But I now in this season, I feel like there's much more that I can be really, like, influencing with others, and I have really been praying for a voice to network more with people, not to keep everything to myself, because I think about it, like, you think about the things that you're praying to God, like, God, help me with this, and then the blessing comes. And then what happens sometimes, like, it just stays there and it's stagnant and you're not doing anything with it, right? But just like Jay is saying, like, it's a seed that's being planted. You got to keep watering, make it grow, right? So once you get what you're praying for, now do everything in your strength to pass that wisdom on to others, so that you can pass the blessing, right? And to me, I feel like that comes with having a voice and being more vocal, and striving to have more meaningful relationships with others, and creating just a great network of people around me, that I can, set myself up for success and continue to learn from others. But I definitely feel like it's having a voice, because I really went through a dark path with anxiety and depression, and that's really a topic that a lot of people are dealing with nowadays, right? And I feel like given the experiences and everything that I have, that, man, I really want to help people in that way. And I feel like that's, God really speaking to me, and it's like, okay, everything that I taught you, everything that you went through, it was for a reason. Like, now go out there, like Jay said, and be a blessing for others. And I feel like that's what in this season I'm being called to, in being a blessing to others and helping them overcome those strongholds and stuff like that. But it has been tough for me, because it's not the same as picking up the piano, and just sitting there and I'm all by myself. But now you're having other people involved, and in order to do that, you need to learn how to communicate and build relationships with others. And it's so crazy, because even before we got together and even did this podcast, like, you know, that was something that I was kind of starting to think about. And then now this came along and I'm like, oh shoot, you know, now there's a microphone here and everything that I say, you know, can be used
Tell the
against
millions
me,
of
or
people, man, the millions of people.
it can benefit someone, you know.
Yes.
And I, you know,
Absolutely.
rather it be the latter.
Yeah.
But you know, like and I think it's a great space to be in, just like you're saying, right? That you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know what's gonna be of me, but that's when, you know, faith has to kick in, and you really have to trust in yourself, trust in the space and the people around you, and most importantly, trust in God.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the most important thing, right? Is walk by faith, not by sight, right?
Yep.
And so if I see everything that's in front of me, I'm going to get scared and like avoid it. So no, I'm just walking. I'm just, whatever comes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know what's funny, when you were saying that you want to pass that on, like, you know, you went through yourself. I just picture you like hanging out like gingers to a bunch of people to help their anxiety. Just passing out little chunks of ginger to people. I don't know why I just pictured that in my
The
head.
people closest to me know that for about a year, 2 years, I always carried a piece of ginger in my pocket because I was anxious all the time, and it just, you know, I had these nauseous symptoms, and I felt like I was throwing up, and I had like this phobia of throwing up, and it accelerated my anxiety even more. So I always had this piece of ginger, and I was just a little biting it here and there.
That's always
you
back
know?
picture. You
Take
just
away
hang
the
out,
nausea.
you know? Yeah, that's a good business. Just sell some ginger. Jerry's ginger.
Jerry's ginger.
There you go. So,
But yeah, that was such a great
I think that's
conversation.
It's a great conversation, man. You know what's funny? Like, this was like on the fly, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
don't
this
tell him
just
that,
happened.
bro.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
You know what I mean? No, what I'm saying is like,
It's all scripted.
I mean,
Look at this.
no, we're scripted in the sense of like, you know, we know what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? But like, we didn't really come here 100% prepared. You know what I mean? We're just like, let's just sit down.
100%, 0% prepared.
Let's just talk. And this is the whole point of this podcast, right? It's
Yeah.
just being able to have
It's-
conversations like we would without a camera.
And it's crazy because it's like we know each other, but we don't. Like, given all
That's
this,
crazy.
right?
Yeah,
like
that's
you
true.
saying you're coming out of your comfort zone now is the first time you share that. So like I think just that dynamic here and the chemistry that we have really has been a blessing to us. Hopefully to you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy the conversations as well. But I mean, I just really enjoy these conversations with you guys.
Same, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Peace.
all right, have a good
We
one.
out.
Love y'all.
Don't forget to share, comment.
Oh, follow us on TikTok.
Yes.
We're on TikTok now.
Tiki tiki.
So
Want to
get
see
those,
some penguin dances?
start scrolling, man. Use those fingers to start scrolling, please, and let people know, all right? Like your tias and your heels.